And welcome back to Wake Up America. I'm Alison Maloni. Let's take a look at today's business headlines with the Money Men, business and markets analyst and Newsmax contributor, Seth Jensen, and America's accountant, Dan Geltrude. Good morning, gentlemen. Seth, you're back from vacation. We missed you last week.
Hey, I missed you guys too, but I will tell you, it was very nice to take a week off, keep the TV off, although I will say I woke up a couple mornings and watched Wake Up America. I did. And I had to see when my buddy Dan was on, just see how much he missed me. So.
He did miss you. He missed you.
I did miss him.
He did. Well, welcome back. We're glad you got some rest. All right, so some good news today. The market began the day in the green. The Dow Jones really coming back to life, jumping 646 points. The NASDAQ adding 139 and the S&P 500 gaining 53. Futures are up ahead of the opening bell. Seth, the markets rebounding yesterday. Obviously good news as we start today. We're learning a little bit more about this variant. Do you think that may be why the markets have bounced back?
Well, I think that may be part of the cause or maybe a symptom. I think the market's overvalued. I think that it's misappropriately valued. If we look at the Dow Jones specifically over the last 5 years, it's grown 80%. Well, the U.S. economy has only grown about 9%. Now, I recognize the Dow is more than just the U.S. economy, but we draw that correlation all the time. And so I think that this is just the reality of a market that's misappropriately evaluated, and as such, you're going to see these big dips and these big jumps. We really need a steady growth rate, but unfortunately, that's not where we are. I've been saying for a while we need a market correction. Until that happens, we're going to see these ups and downs. These are dip buyers, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Seth, let me jump in there right now and say this. You have to look at why that's happening, because interest rates are so low. People don't have anywhere else to put their money, so the market is going to stay inflated. I don't disagree, but there's no other options.
But those interest rates are probably going to go up,
the
right?
The fact that I was gone last week, and Dan, you must have been asleep at the wheel and let the market go down.
That's what happened. So you can't take any time off, Seth. All right, so Ford pushing its return to office date to March over new COVID-19 concerns impacting about 30,000 employees. This is the clock is ticking for all its U.S. salaried employees to be fully vaccinated by tomorrow. Dan, do you see more companies pushing back start dates even further? And what do you think this could mean for the auto industry as a whole?
Well, this is one of those things that we continue to talk about related to going back to work. And the reason why these dates are being pushed back, Allie, is because the companies need these employees. If they're not willing to get vaccinated, they can't afford to lose them. So it's very simple. They're going to have to keep pushing back the return to work date and allow these people to keep working remotely, which, by the way, I think is going to be more permanent than not, until ultimately either workers can be replaced or there's more workforce people for companies to choose from.
But Seth, you don't think that's going to be permanent,
quick,
right?
So Dan a couple weeks ago accused me of driving a Rolls Royce. I drive a Ford F350. So one thing I can say about Ford, mine's a 2015. It's got a lot of miles left to go. They build a good vehicle. Therefore, they'll last longer. Ford can sit back a little bit longer, but they need to get these employees back.
Yeah. Do you think, though, I was talking about the working from home, Seth, do you think that's going to be the norm?
I think for the short term, it will be for certain companies that can.
Yeah.
And certainly those employees that have the ability to work from home, technology is great. We've talked about technology stocks, those stay-at-home stocks that allow people to work from home. That's why Microsoft has done so well through Microsoft Teams and some of their other products. I think that's going to continue for the short term. I know Dan and I disagree on that. I think eventually everybody will be brought back. That may be 3, 5, 10 years down the road, but I don't see staying at home being a long-term play for the U.S. economy.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain jobs, right, you can't do from home, right? Let's talk about, the car manufacturers. We'll stick with that. Toyota headed to North Carolina to build its $1.29 billion electric vehicle battery manufacturing plant. It's set to open in 2025 with 4 production lines capable of delivering enough batteries for 200,000 vehicles. Seth, we've got supply chain issues. They're still affecting the U.S. industry. Do you see more companies taking matters into their own hands so they don't have to rely on others for their inventory?
Oh, sure. And we've talked about the fact that businesses all over are looking at new ways of trying to do things. Now, specifically to Toyota, though, they've already been building a lot of their vehicles here in the U.S., at least those that are consumed here in the U.S. They've got plants in Indiana, Kentucky. Their headquarters is here in Texas, about 20 minutes that way. So, that's what Toyota's been doing. But other businesses are doing that, too. These corporations, these bigger ones, have the ability to do that. The people that don't are these small business owners. And so it's challenging to see what they might be impacted by, these supply chain issues going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, another recall to talk about. Alexander and Hornan is recalling more than 230,000 pounds of cooked ham and pepperoni products shipped nationwide due to a possible listeria contamination. Dan, we're at such a crucial economic time. What do you think this recall could mean for this company?
Well, it's not great news, Allie, but you have to look at this in the big picture. If a company does not handle, a food company in this case, a contamination issue properly, that could spell literally the end of the company.
Yeah.
So although, you have a choice of a really bad choice or a disastrous choice, you have to take that tougher road. They have to do full disclosure. They got to get all that contamination back. They got to make sure that their customers know that they're doing the right thing and ultimately protecting people.
Yeah.
If they do that, they will recover just fine.
Yeah, get in front of it, right? Always, the PR 101, right? So let's stick to food. Tyson showing its appreciation to its workers, paying out about $50 million in year-end bonuses to frontline and hourly meatpacking employees, 86,000 of them getting a check from anywhere between $300 and $700. Seth, that's obviously a nice holiday boost. You think more companies are realizing that they need their employees now more than ever, and they're showing it with the wallet?
I think they do. Listen, business owners, myself included, are recognizing that inflation, or wages, I should say, are just not keeping up with inflation. And so we need to make sure we're taking care of those who take care of us, which our number one person to do that is our employee. Tyson has a little bit of an advantage, though, that many companies don't. Their stock's up over 21% this year. And I can say this, Tyson chicken nuggets are a staple in the Denson household. And so we've supported that. This $50 million bonus, this is part of their overall profit earnings, but I'm glad to see that they're doing the right thing and saying, hey, employees that stuck it out, that were frontline, essential, we're going to take care of it.
Yeah, there's a shortage on chicken tenders, but not on nuggets, so we're safe. We're safe in my household, too. Those dino nuggets, we can't live without those. All right, Seth and Dan, great to have you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Allie.
All right, plenty more.